they'll be calling you a radical, so nobody's paying attention. This is the biggest breaking story on Fukushima in probably 3 or 4 years. So, you know how they got their robot down there and saw some, 7 years later, saw some debris. Well, this is the bigger part of the story. This is just breaking this morning that TEPCO's gone ahead and released the readings. They had a device on that camera, that snake. By the way, Toshiba, the Westinghouse bankrupted, the nuclear energy crime syndicate, had a reader on it. So you read the readings and you tell me if you think this. This is the most telling piece of the Fukushima dynamic in years. These numbers are so fucking gargantuous, so fucking high, 7 years fucking later. It just proves the entire thesis of mine, which is, I've proved it. And then I want to say this to these fucking morons in Seattle. This really outrages me. They go on the news and they're, save the King's family. You fucking morons. They're out there telling everybody that the salmon have been declining for 30 years. That's a total fucking lie. A total fucking lie. I'll post the fucking, you can look them up in your numbers. I'll post the Oregon 7-day fish count on the Columbia. Now, this is very important. So, the numbers on the Kings, on record escapement, one of the greatest environmental accomplishments in human history was the comeback of the salmon in Washington, in Oregon. The average Chinook goes to sea for 5 years. This is important. Now listen, really important. So, record escapement. So, they had record escapement in 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012, 13, 14, so on, all the way to this year even. Escapement, real important. So in 2013, 1.3 million returned. In 2014, I believe it was 1.45 million. 2015, record all time. I think it was 1.6 or 1.6. Right around 1.6 million. All-time records. All-time records. Now this is on the Columbia. And all the other rivers the same. Clear up to Alaska to the Copper, blah, 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 blah. So on record escapement, the projections in 2016, and I'm doing videos every day, the projection was 1.75 million. That was NOAA's projection. That's everybody's projection. They're all excited. Yay, what an accomplishment. I'm like, no. Chinook salmon go to sea for 5 years. And I already knew because I could see the stillhead start to collapse. Stillhead salmon go to sea for 1 year, 1 to 2. They can make 2 cycles. They started to decline in 2012, 2013. They're extinct right now. I mean, they're on the verge. In the Columbia right now, this is important. For the entire month of January, and we're talking the Columbia River, the entire freaking drainage, and they count every single fucking fish with salmon. The stillhead, 208 in the entire fucking Columbia. That's extinction stuff, or the Endangered Species Act. So, back to the Chinook. So, 2017 number, 2016, they were projecting 1.7 million. Everybody's all gung ho. I'm like, no. Everybody freaking had bets all over with me. Came in at 680,000. You heard me right. Came in at 680,000. So, 2017 number, projected over 2 million. On record escapement, on record escapement, on record escapement. They came in at 490,000. Projection of over 2.3 million came in at 4. You do the math. The tide pools are all dead. I've had to document that. You can argue with me all you want. The sardines and anchovies and herring have a total collapse. The cod have now collapsed in Alaska. They've cut the quota by 80%. You're in denial. You're in epic denial. So these assholes in Seattle can kiss my ass. And I do this full of cancer with no money. I mean, it's outrageous that I've done. I mean, this work is beyond historic. I'm the only person on earth. The only person on earth. I mean, it took me a year and a half to convince anybody that this was even 1 meltdown, let alone 4. But this number that's coming out of TEPCO, this is the most dramatic news on Fukushima. And it just proves the whole nightmare. They have no handle on it. So in case you don't know, if you're new, what they do, the wind was blowing out at TEPCO at Fukushima for 6 days. Anders the Cooper and gang was over there. Should we get out? Get out. When the wind shifted is when they started to get the water on it. They've pushed water onto this. You read the readings. 8. Whoa, 8. Whoa. I mean, these numbers are so high they will kill you, anything, so they can't get near it, whatever. So their answer's been to dump water, fresh water. They can't use salt water. They tried salt water, but it was a disaster. So they use fresh water. There's only so much fresh water in Japan. They jump fresh water onto it and push it into the Pacific Ocean. And so it doesn't, the fire, which is a gas, doesn't go up into the atmosphere. And it blew up multiple times. You know, I'm the guy that put up the video. I found the video. I had 2 views, I think, on June of 2011. I think it was June 14th when it blew. You know, I'm the guy that found that video, put it out, and then the activists in Hawaii put it on their vlog. So this is, I'm telling you, this is it. This is it. It's a major, this is the biggest story of the Fukushima catastrophe. And so you assholes in Seattle, you marine biologists, I think you should all be around it. I think you should be jailed. You're derelicts. Derelicts. Chinook salmon go to sea for 5 years. We don't count dead whales. We don't count, I do. We don't count dead people, HIPAA laws. Well, I do. I was in the bone marrow transplant center, remember? I went in on 11/11/11. There's no stairway to heaven, Kevin. Oh, yeah? Before I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil. 311s. You know, I did this full of AML, leukemia, cancer. Talk about change your life. Talk about, wow, wow, wow. My work is so historic. I mean, I think about it. It's so incredible. And these marine biologists and these derelicts and all these people didn't do shit. And I did all the fucking work with no fucking money. I was a millionaire when I got sick. I was uninsured. I forked over my entire stock portfolio to get in. I flopped it down. Almost $1 million. You know, and I fought leukemia for 5 years in the bone marrow sensitive LDS off and on for 5 years, over 5 years. It was so hardcore. As soon as I come out of there, my aortic valve failed. I'm sure it was the chemo, the drugs going in my jugular. And I collapsed, almost died. Ogden Regional Medical Center, a doctor named Hawkins told me to go see my dentist. I mean, derelicts, I was just bleeding and bleeding and bleeding. He tried to kill me, literally tried. Can't even sue him. I can't get an attorney. I can't get a publicist. I can't get nobody. I mean, this is still freelance grassroots 7 years later. And I do all this work, travel all over the fucking world. Thank you to everybody who supported this historic work. And one last thing, on the University of General Electric here, if you own any GE stock, you're so fucking stupid. This stock's worthless. Catch the falling fucking nuclear fucking knife. They come right out and said that they're fucking getting ate up. The only thing they have, you know, the rest home business that collapsed, the only thing they have solid is their power business. And they came right out and says, renewables are kicking our ass. Good, fuck you, you mass murdering evil fuckers. Stand tuned. Read it, you tell me. Pacific Ocean dies, stock market makes all the time. You don't care, you don't care. Obey, consume, die of cancer, and loving it. You're sickening pigs, grotesque, sickening fucking American consumption pigs, unconscious pigs. Send your garbage. By the way, China's not taking our garbage anymore, so it's piling up all over. You know, it's disgusting what you are. And you marine biologists that work in academia, glass houses, you fucking scumbags and you fuckers, oh, King Salmon, and you talk that shit, it's been collapsing 30 years, you're a fucking liar. And I'm recording you in history, you fucking derelict. You don't do your job. I don't have, you know, somebody says, do your job. I don't have a fucking job. My job's fucking trying to save the world. Fuck. The weight of the world. For Kevin reached into the bag and he slung the stone. Stand tuned.